Hello, Internet, and welcome to the SwirlyCast, the only audio show that can be enjoyed by humans and yokai alike, and is the subject of being the first major video of 2021! We made it out of 2020 unscathed, fortunately enough for us. With that said, I am your host, Koma, happy to spend a few minutes out of your day to come hang out, and with formalities out of the way, what is on the mind today? I figured that we should start talking about something a little smaller to sort of ease everybody into the new year, because what's a good year without looking back on things that you like, hmm? With that said, today's episode is going to be about the Chao Garden. So, for those uninformed, Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 both have a separate mode called the Chao Garden, where you get to raise your own Chao, put them in races, and in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle exclusively, the Chao Karate. Now, I was always a big fan of this mode, ever since I first played Sonic Adventure and in Sonic Adventure 2, because, it was just a fun little side thing that I can do. You get to raise your own little baby children, they're so adorable, and, it was pretty much just something I could really sink my time into. I raised a few different Chao during my travels in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and, it's just very fond memories that I have with both games, and why I still hold both games to high regard, especially Sonic Adventure 2, as it is one of my favorite Sonic games, especially nowadays after doing a full replay through with a lot of extra stuff. But one step at a time, one step at a time. So let's go ahead and brief you on a little bit of history going on the Chao Garden before we start talking about the garden proper. This was not actually an idea made for, Sonic Adventure exclusively, because it was its own thing back in Nights into Dreams. I saw this on a video on the internet, and I will link it in the description or in one of the cards that'll pop up in whatever corner I decide to put it in, or whatever thing YouTube decides to want to do things. During Nights into Dreams, you would run into these little creatures called Nighttopians, and if you wanted to, you could actually interact with them. If you drill dash near one of them, they will obviously get hurt and scared. You could paraloop around front of them, and then, they will die. Kind of not something that you want to do, because, stuff. And, of course, it's... killing something is obviously going to be not very good for the society, so everybody else will be scared of you. But there was also an exclusively breeding mechanic, where if two happy Nighttopians would go together, they would form an egg. And you can also crossbreed with some of the enemies if you force one of them to meet one of the Nighttopians. There is a chance that you can form like a little Meepian egg. And, it's this whole really fascinating thing, and it was kind of the prototype for what Chao would become. Again, I'll link the resource in the description or in one of the cards if you want to go check out what exactly the full-on history of it, because I think Cybershell could explain it better than any I ever could in the limited amount of time that we do have. But with that in mind, let's go talking about Chao proper. And yeah, it's a little bit of a doozy, so you'll have to bear with me while I try to explain everything as best as possible. So each Chao has a bunch of different stats: running, flying, swimming, stamina, and power. Those are the stats that you can raise on their own. There are also two hidden stats hidden within the Chao's DNA called luck and intelligence, but you won't be able to see those without mods, so good luck trying to get those things through and stuff. So yeah, in the stages themselves, you will find both, in Sonic Adventure 2, exclusively, you will find Chaos Drives and small animals. In Sonic Adventure 1, they were just small animals, so since you can destroy badniks and get animals out of them, those are the only way that you could get your Chao stats up. In Sonic Adventure 2, Chaos Drives were introduced for the gun machines, and since those are the major enemies, those are the things that are most common. And small animals were hidden in bunches of 10 inside of the stages. Or, if you could search out the Chao containers, you get the second one, you get a bunch of random animals from the stage for free. And there's a huge list of animals there too for each of the different types, and special ghost and mythical creatures. Each of the animals that you give your Chao will give them not only a body part of the animal that you gave it to, but also a special trait. For example, if you give a Chao a gorilla, it will pound a chest, much like it's a gorilla, and so on and so forth. Ghost Chao, exclusive to Sonic Adventure 2, would give your Chao certain other effects. Giving it a skeleton dog will remove one of its parts and allow it to wear hats. The lake monster would get rid of its emotion ball and turn it into a small flame. I always thought that was a pretty cool visual and works really well for Chaos Chao. And the bat would remove the Chao's legs. The worst out of all of them because it takes so long to get your Chao's legs back. So I never liked the bat, even though it does give good stats. And that's pretty much just the whole basics around Chao altogether. You could raise them, do whatever you want with them. You could give it fruit, you can give it stamina, you could do all that other stuff. All in an effort to exceed any Chao races in the Chao Karate, and again, Sonic Adventure 2 battle only. Each of the modes will task your Chao with either winning a race or defeating the other Chao in a match. For the Chao race, there's a bunch of different difficulties in each version of the game. In battle, for the Chao Karate, you would have 5 different opponents, and your Chao would have to defeat each of them in order to gain a medal. Each of the Chao minigames does lock behind an emblem, so if you want to go for 100% in both of these games, you're going to have to go for the Chao Garden, which honestly is not a very good way of going about it. But if you're along for the ride, this can be one of the most rewarding experiences in the Sonic game, and much reason why that this is one of the most requested things that people come back to when they're thinking of features that they want back in the Sonic game. I remember that the Sonic Twitter posted a thing like, what is the one thing that you would like to see in the next Sonic game? And people overwhelmingly chose the Chao Garden, myself included, and rightfully so. It is one of the most intricate things about both adventure games. It was one of the most interesting things about it. It made those things unique, but having it more refined and, be a little bit better, I think would honestly make the Chao Garden one of the best experiences in a Sonic game. Which brings me to Chao World Extended and Enhanced Chao World and a bunch of other Chao mods for Sonic Adventure 2 PC. This automatically makes Sonic Adventure 2 PC the best Chao experience possible because not only do you have access to the Chao Karate and the Chao races, but you also have access to a lot of extra good stuff. The Chao data menu mod is a separate thing, but you can look up your Chao stats and you can find out what your luck and intelligence is without having to have an external device. There's a bunch of different codes in place there too, where you can enhance your Chao experience by allowing Chaos Strikes to be used more than once. And it's just really the best way to experience Chao. And I really recommend checking out these mods. If you were very unsure about the Chao Garden, I wholeheartedly think that Extended and Enhanced Chao World are 2 essential mods for Sonic Adventure 2. And it makes the Chao Garden seem less like a headache and more of a very much rewarding experience. Plus, with the more animations code in place, you get some pretty awesome results out of it. Both adorable and cool at the same time. So I'm not gonna spoil anything for you guys, but let me just say, if you've seen a single Chao Garden video with each of these mods in play, you can experience that for yourself. But I think that's just about enough time that we have for today. The Chao Garden is very cool. If you haven't tried Chao World Extended and Enhanced Chao World just yet, I recommend playing both mods in Sonic Adventure 2. It'll make the experience a lot less of a headache and more rewarding and more fun, which is definitely what Sonic games need to do. And I hope that the Chao World can come back in a future Sonic game, whenever that may be. I have no idea. But with that, this has been Koma. My friends, fellow viewers, and camaraderies alike. Just changing out the outro just so we can keep everything fresh. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the SwirlyCast. Until next time, bye-bye! Can we also mention that the Jewel theme race actually slaps? Just once.